Hi, I'm Jerry Mikulski, the head of an independent consultancy named Associate, because I like to associate people and ideas.
Jerry, what do you think the new network means to you?
Well, on the biggest scale of all, I say this often in speeches. Um, Through all of history and prehistory, it's been impossible for the ordinary individual to put things in the world and to connect up with other people that way. And to have those things that they put in the world stay there while I go about my business. So if I do a blog post or put pictures up or videos up or whatever, those things, or code, those things stay in the network. So the new network is absolutely transformative to civilization. That's that new network, and that starts around the year 2000 with the popularization of the internet. Beyond that, we're trying to evolve, trying to figure out what this network does. So we're slowly working our way toward new lessons about what the network is supposed to do and how we think about it. It's no longer a set of highways or a complex series of pipes and tubes. It's now something else, and we're still trying to figure out what that is.
It's not a series of tubes. So, what do you see some of the challenges and threats that the new network faces in today's environment?
So let me start with the threats because they're sort of more obvious. The net neutrality folks are trying, with moderate success, to keep people, big businesses' hands out of the net, to keep them from designing things into the net that actually will close it down. Will basically turn it into something that isn't open, isn't the internet. And I think that's going to remain a threat for as long as we live. The question is, how do you build a baseline of rules to make that happen properly? And I'm not sure we know the answer. I don't think the net neutrality people necessarily have the right formula for doing that, because sometimes you can legislate in some roadblocks to development that you really don't want to do. So those are the biggest threats. The biggest opportunities are basically lock in our heads. So I look at the communication tools on the net, and I just spent an hour and a half with tech support trying to get this webcam running. It's a slightly older webcam, but it should have run and wasn't running. And the idea that the basic native communication tools in all these environments don't work transparently every time, all the time. That right now, if I wanted to share my screen with you, that's hard to do. All these things come first because we've got all this legacy history with what an operating system is and how they work. Second, we have these continuous failures of imagination that then slowly start to turn into successes where somebody just provides something that we didn't think about before and suddenly it becomes given, like instant messaging. It just came out of nowhere. So I think there's enormous opportunities. When I give talks, I talk about the current phase of all these tools as the Model T phase, that you still need to know where the carburetor is and how to take it apart. You still need to know how to turn the crank on the front of the machine. All this stuff is very, very manual and pathetic. And hopefully 30 years from now, we'll look back and laugh at all the funny stuff we were doing these days. It will be as funny as you looking at your electronic fuel injected RAM chipped car today and thinking about a Model T in its first incarnations.
What are some of the key trends and developments you see coming in the new network?
So I think we keep getting surprised at how powerful conversation and communication tools are, and we keep talking to people who want to shove content down our throats. I was just at a conference in Seoul, Korea. Went to Seoul for the first time for this conference that was all about content, and there were happy content providers there, and there were TV people there saying, "No, no, no, TV isn't dead. It's going to be just fine." So I think that the surprises are going to be how powerful just communicating is, and what that means. Um, I think there's all sorts of surprises, and we have no real good way of predicting what they are because they show up in odd times in odd ways. I remember in 1981, I had an Apple II Plus, and a year or two later, I was using a 300 baud Hayes modem to play an online game with another reporter, Bill Cook from U.S. News and World Report. And I thought, damn, sometime soon everybody's going to be doing this. 10 years later, in 1991, the fax just blew past the modem. Absolutely blew past it. Everybody had to have a fax machine or you were dead in business. 10 years after that, in 2001, all of a sudden the internet shows up and the fax is dead. So there was this big detour. Eventually we got to the point where we can pass files back and forth. It's still not as easy as it should be. But eventually we got to that point that I thought I saw in 81. It's just that we didn't get there the way I thought we would. So these things are unpredictable all the time.
Thanks, Jerry. I really look forward to seeing you at Supernova The unconference day is the 19th, and the dates of the conference are June 20th through 22nd. And I'll see you there. Thanks.
Same here, Howard. Thanks.